Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Terence Crawford smashed everybody that Floyd ever fought. Yep. Man, Freddie, done. Fried. Crawford would have beat him, dominated him, knocked him the hell out. Crawford hit harder than Floyd. Crawford hits harder than Floyd. You understand that? Killer instinct is on 10. Oh, man, come on, man. Crawford can do everything Floyd can do, and he can do it from both sides.
Tim Bradley was a unified world champion, entrenched at the top of the sport and dominating everyone around him in camp. When his team brought in a little-known 23-year-old from Nebraska for sparring, it was supposed to be routine work, nothing more. That assumption didn't last long. Early in the session, the young fighter timed Bradley perfectly and snapped in a sharp counter right that sent the champion to the canvas. It wasn't a fluke. It was a moment of clarity. Bradley immediately understood he wasn't dealing with just another prospect. He was sharing the ring with someone who saw patterns, angles, and openings at a completely different speed. What made it truly unsettling was this. Outside that gym, almost no one knew who this kid was yet. But in that instant, Bradley realized the rest of the boxing world was only a matter of time behind the revelation.
I won't fight pro.
Timmy, when you brought Terence to your camp 2 years back,
yeah,
and you told him you're going to be a future champ,
yeah,
you knew, right?
Yep.
What do you have? What kind of skill did he have?
Everything. Mentally tough, physically strong, boxing ability, high IQ for the sport, student of the game, confident, everything.
Why wouldn't you fight him?
He's a friend of mine.
To grasp how significant this moment really was, you have to go back to 2011. Tim Bradley was operating at his absolute ceiling. He was deep into preparation for a major showdown with Devin Alexander, and his training camp had reached an almost dangerous intensity. Sparring partners weren't just being tested, they were getting worn down. One by one, bodies ran out, needing fresh work. Bradley's team made a late call and brought in a young fighter from Nebraska named Terence Crawford. At the time, Crawford was still a mystery. Barely over 10 professional fights, no experience past the middle rounds, and no reputation to protect or fear. On paper, the situation was completely lopsided. Bradley had an elite team surrounding him, breaking down every exchange, every movement, every mistake. Crawford had none of that. He sat quietly in the corner, loose and calm, warming up alone. No cameras, no expectations, no hint that he was about to share the ring with one of the most intense competitors in boxing. What looked like routine sparring was actually the moment two very different careers briefly collided. One already established, the other still invisible to the rest of the world.
Well, first of all, I think I was getting ready for Devin Alexander. And then I had him for Pacquiao too. So I had him for two camps. But I was getting ready for Devin Alexander. And I was tip-top shape. I was sending everybody home. I was beating up everybody in the gym, sending them home. And I was running out of sparring partners. So I told my manager, Cameron Duncan at the time.
That was 2011? That was about 2011,
yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. And then so I called him up and I said, hey, I need a sparring partner, man. Like, I'm sending these guys home. Like, I need somebody that's doable, somebody strong, somebody tough. And he was just like, well, I'll send Crawford. I'll see if he can come out. So got in contact with Crawford, his camp, whatever. He flew out by himself. He came in the gym. I seen him sitting in the gym. He had these little plaits in his head, very dark skin, look kind of scrawny. He looked strong. You know what I'm saying? I already know, certain builds. I'm like, yeah, he looks strong. Very linky, quiet, didn't talk much, man. He just warmed up, got in the gym. We started working, we started sparring, and I was like, oh my God, he was lighting me up. Every mistake I made, bing, 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 he was catching, countering the shit out of me. And I was like, my gosh.
When the rounds finally started, Bradley later admitted he didn't come out looking to dominate. He eased into it, testing the newcomer, trying to get a feel for what this unknown kid actually had. That hesitation turned out to be the mistake. Almost immediately, Crawford snapped a firm jab into Bradley's face, then slid into a sharp counter that forced the champion to reset. That moment changed the tone of the gym. Bradley felt it, not just physically, but emotionally. Getting touched like that by a late replacement in his own camp stung his pride. The switch flipped. He ramped the intensity straight to championship speed, applying the kind of pressure that usually overwhelms sparring partners and exposes their limits. But Crawford didn't panic. He didn't shell up. He stayed composed inside the storm, reading patterns, timing openings. Then it happened. One perfectly placed shot cut through the chaos and sent Bradley's legs betraying him. Bradley has said himself that if it had happened under the lights, the referee would have started a count. The room froze. No chatter. No instructions. Just silence. The unthinkable had happened. The sparring partner had dropped the champion. And in that moment, before the world knew his name, Terence Crawford announced himself to the highest level of boxing. Not with hype, but with precision.
Yeah. So after the sparring session, I'm like, yo, I sat there, I'm like, damn, bust a lip and all. I'm like, man, I was sending everybody home. I'm like, this dude just walked through me like nothing. I looked at him, I said, bruh, you ain't no sparring partner. I said, man, what's your name? And he was like, Terence Crawford. And I'm like, man, where the hell you from? He goes, Omaha, Nebraska. I go, bruh. I'm like, you ain't no sparring partner. You a world champion. And he was like, oh, you really think? I was like, man, you got the goods. Look, listen to me. Every time I would try to step it up, because that's what I would do. I would go half-ass, and then, if they start getting the best of me, then I'll step it up. And if they start getting, and then if they rise their game, then I rise mine. And I just kept rising my game. And I just kept trying to rise my game. Well, he rose his game. And I'm like, God, I was like, dang, this dude is different. Like, most guys would just crumble. Like, oh, you the champ, so I'm just going to lay down. He didn't lay down at all. He didn't take it easy on me. And I said, oh, my God. So it went from there. So I immediately, after training, I took him back to his hotel. And better yet, he had no coach with him. Nobody would. Literally, they were giving him water, and that was it. He didn't have a coach telling him what to do. My coach sure the hell wasn't telling him what to do. And he just figured it out. And I'm just like, what the hell going on here?
What happened next is exactly why Tim Bradley still calls Terence Crawford a master thinker. Most young fighters, especially ones with little experience, collapse the moment a hurt champion responds with full aggression. Crawford did the opposite. He started collecting information. With no coach feeding him advice, no corners shouting adjustments, Crawford made every change on instinct. He adapted in real time. Bradley later described it like fighting a chameleon. When Bradley charged forward, Crawford smoothly shifted to fighting off the back foot. When Bradley tried to slow things down and box at range, Crawford calmly switched stances, moving from orthodox to southpaw and throwing off the champion's timing entirely. Nothing stayed the same for more than a few seconds. Crawford used angles, pivots, and balance that didn't look accidental. Drawing from his wrestling background, he slipped out of corners, redirected pressure, and set traps without rushing. Every time Bradley thought he had found an opening, he realized too late that he had stepped exactly where Crawford wanted him. The rounds were intense, fast, physical, mentally exhausting. And after 4 furious rounds, something unheard of happened. Bradley's own trainer stepped in and shut the session down. Not because Crawford was tired, but because the champion was taking unnecessary punishment from a fighter nobody in the boxing world had even noticed. Yet that's when Bradley understood the truth. He wasn't sparring a prospect. He was sharing a ring with a future problem for the entire sport.
Cameron, I'm like, yo, where does that come from?
Cameron Duncan?
Like,
Cameron Duncan?
Yeah, he goes, what, he's no good? You're going to send him home too? And I'm like, hell no. I was like, bro, when is this kid fighting? He was just like, what do you mean? I said, dude, what are you doing with him? And he was just like, well, nothing right now. He's kind of benched. Issues. He has issues outside of the ring, and so it's kind of benched. I'm like, bruh, I was like, I'll buy him out of this contract right now. I said, how much you want for him? I'll buy him right now. And he was like, wait, hold up. I love Terence. What are you talking about? His tone changed real quick when I was telling him, like, bro, I was like, he dominated me in the sparring session. He goes, what? He goes, really? Yeah. So then, all right.
He didn't know what he had. He
had no clue what he had, right? Yeah. Neither did Top Rank, right? So then I'm finished camp or whatever. I go through Devin Alexander. I beat him, whatever. Then I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, what do you think about Crawford and Prescott?" And I was like, I was like, Prescott who? The dude that knocked out Khan? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I was like, Crawford. I said, he'll box circles around him. I was like, he'll box circles around him. I said, he probably even stop him. And it was like, he goes, really? Really? And this is Cameron Duncan I'm talking to. He goes, really? You really? He's like, you're sure? I'm like, man, I promise you. Everything. Whatever it is, I promise you. And I was like, man, I was like, yo, you still want to go 50-50 on Crawford? He goes, no, I'm fine.
Bradley has since said that the most important lesson from that sparring session wasn't the knockdown itself. It was the realization of what he was dealing with. After going 12 grueling rounds with Manny Pacquiao across their trilogy, Bradley later shared an opinion that shocked a lot of boxing fans. On a pure technical level, he believes Terence Crawford operates at an even higher level than Pacquiao did. It's a statement that still sparks debate, but Bradley doesn't make it lightly. He's one of the few fighters who has felt Pacquiao's relentless pressure in real fights and Crawford's adaptability up close in the gym. From his perspective, Crawford's ability to read opponents, switch styles on the fly, and solve problems mid-round separates him from almost everyone he's ever faced. That belief didn't come from highlight reels or public hype. It came from sharing a ring with both men and realizing that Crawford wasn't just talented. He was processing the fight at a speed few fighters in history ever have.
With that said, Manny Pacquiao, the names people are throwing out there, Tim, and you've been in the ring with him 3 times, and you've been in the ring with Terence when you guys sparred. How do you see that matchup? What does Tim Bradley think about that?
I mean, it's a tough match. That's a tough match. But, you know, of course, I'm going to go with my boy. I'm going to go with my boy Terence. I think he, you know, the IQ, man, that movement he showed tonight, that definitely would give Manny problems, you know, with all that movement. But, you know, then again, when you think about it, because I've been in the ring with Manny, this dude, he ain't like Pistol. He ain't going to sit there and, you know. No, he ain't gonna sit there and like, you know, no, Manny's gonna be and he gonna be letting them hands fly, you know, and so I think it'll be an interesting matchup. I would favor my boy Terence with his size, his movement. I would favor him in the fight. I would want him to beat him. But it's like I said, man, that's a tough fight. Manny, you can never count that guy out, man. He's a beast.
Does Manny still have a lot left, Tim?
Yeah, man. Yeah. That last time out, I don't know what I said to piss him off, but that last time out, he looked good. He was sensational. He learned a lot from that Floyd fight. Let me tell you that.
Bradley has been careful to give Pacquiao his full respect, describing him as an unstoppable force who overwhelms opponents with speed, power, and constant pressure. Facing Manny felt like standing in the middle of a hurricane and hoping you could survive it. But when Bradley talks about Crawford, the danger is different. He says Crawford doesn't just attack your body. He dismantles your thinking. Instead of crashing into you, Crawford strips away your options. He takes away your timing, shuts down your strengths, and leaves you second-guessing moves you've made your entire career. That I end Bradley's view. Pacquiao breaks you down through sheer violence. Crawford breaks you down by solving you. One beats you with force. The other beats you by completely understanding you. And that, to Bradley, is far more frightening.
Love Terence Crawford. I disagree with that because I think Floyd at his best. Because I think Floyd at his best was a better defensive fighter than Crawford. Crawford's a better offensive fighter, but in those kind of matchups, I think defense usually beats the offense.
I don't. Because Terence Crawford got more to bring. He got more to bring to the table.
He's a great fighter.
Floyd Mayweather got the little shoulder roll. I get it. Controls distance. But Terence Crawford is also a master at distance. Terence Crawford has punching power to hurt Floyd Mayweather. We saw that in the Sam Judah fight now.
Yeah, Shane too. Shane hurt him with the right hand.
Shane did hurt him as well.
Yep.
And did he fight Shane? But did Floyd fight Shane in his prime? Do you think he fought him in his prime?
No.
Exactly.
And Zab wasn't quite a Shane-level fighter. That's true. Listen, it'd be a great match. It'd be a great matchup, no doubt. What you said about the other fighters who are avoiding him, those fighters are with Heyman in the PBC. But when you listen, and obviously you're not in a rush to throw your guy in with Terence Crawford if you can make money other ways at 147 pounds. But
True.
Sean Porter has mentioned Terence Crawford. He's not running. It has been reported recently that Arum and Heyman were talking about a Crawford-Spence fight. Not this year, but the following year. if they remained undefeated, but then Spence got into the car accident. And we see now that with the Fury-Wilder fight happening, maybe there's a thawing and more of a willingness to do business, if it makes sense, between the promoters. And Heyman's technically an advisor, but he's a power broker. I would love to see if Spence gets back to being the same guy he is and isn't facing legal repercussions for the car accident. Yes. I would love to see Spence and Crawford. I think that's the best fight in boxing, Tim.
Yes, it is. Right now it is.
Years later, the rest of the boxing world finally caught a glimpse of what Tim Bradley experienced in that quiet gym back in 2011, when Terence Crawford faced the previously unbeaten Errol Spence Jr. The performance felt less like a contest and more like a controlled breakdown. It wasn't raw athleticism stealing the show, it was calculation. Crawford read Spence's rhythm, identified the habits, and shut down every route back into the fight with surgical precision. That display is exactly why Bradley stands almost alone in his confidence that Crawford could climb weight classes and still challenge someone as imposing as Canelo Alvarez. While most analysts fixate on physical dimensions, Bradley focuses on something else entirely: the gap in perception, timing, and decision-making. In his view, Crawford doesn't rely on strength to win. He relies on understanding. Bradley believes Crawford's greatest weapon isn't speed or power, but the processor between his ears. A mind that adapts faster than opponents can react. A fighter who doesn't just compete in the ring, but solves it. And as Bradley sees it, no matter how big the opponent, every puzzle has an answer, if you're smart enough to find it.
Before Crawford left the camp, I told Crawford, I said, man, I said, you have something special. And I told him, I said, man, look, you stay on the right course. I said, stay out of trouble, stay out of the streets. I said, really live this. Keep your weight down, and opportunity's going to present itself. I said, I'm going to do my part. I'm going to call Top Rank. I'm going to talk about you. I said, when the opportunity comes, I said, you got to make sure you shine. And then when it came, boom, man, the rest is history. And right after that fight, when I saw him fight Prescott, I announced to the world that day, I said, he's going to be the future pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. And he accomplished that. So, knew that kid was special. I knew that kid was special, man, because trust me, man, I was hell. I was hell in the ring, man. You got to deal with more than just my punches. You had to deal with the head. You had to deal with my strength, my conditioning, and Crawford was able to deal with all of that. So I knew he was different.
That's when I think Midge Minor was his trainer at the time, right?
Who was that?
Midge. Was Midge his trainer?
Yeah.
The old man.
Nah, it was Bomac. I think it was Bomac because I think his trainer had passed away.
No, his trainer passed away in 2018.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think it was Bomac. Okay. It was Bomac, I believe. Yeah, I think it was Bomac. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was Bomac, man. He would talk, and the crazy thing is about Crawford is that like every day he was different. So like I would come back the next sparring session, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get his ass now. Yeah, I know his weakness. Man, that dude was like a chameleon. Man, that same weakness, he just patched up. It ain't no longer a weakness. And I'm like, what the?
To tell you guys, yeah, Floyd Mayweather's a GOAT. Oh, absolutely. But Terence Crawford will whoop his ass. He would beat Floyd Mayweather. I'm telling you right now, he will beat Floyd Mayweather too. He will beat him too. He got everything it takes to beat Floyd. Floyd struggled in the first half against Zab Judah. Zab Judah, a damn terrific fighter. Terrific fighter, but he ain't no damn Terence Crawford. Especially from the southpaw position. Floyd didn't like fighting southpaws. Floyd reached with that right hand. You think he's gonna reach against one of the best back foot counterpunchers in the game? He gonna reach with that right hand against Crawford? He gonna get slept reaching with that back hand. The way he reaches with that. That level change backhand he throws too. Man, that pull jab he does too, that ain't gonna work. That is not gonna work. Floyd got a 72-inch reach. Yeah, he had quickness, fast reflexes. However, Crawford got all of that too. He got all of that too. And he got a 75-inch reach. Great counter puncher. Can concentrate all night. can put pressure on Floyd, he can even invite Floyd in. Yep. I noticed. Floyd's not having success. He started to step on the gas. That's what he do. And he gonna run into problems with Crawford because Crawford hits harder than him. Crawford is the most complete fighter that I've ever witnessed in real life.